Hey friends, welcome back to the Honest Edit.
Hello.
And this is Scarlett and I'm Holly. I always forget to introduce ourselves.
I mean, you should know us by now.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
If you're new here, welcome. Today's episode is called Burn the Checklist. Why systems will beat willpower every time.
Yes.
Because let's be real, if checklist and to-do list actually work, I would be a billionaire because I can make them like a mofo.
Yeah.
I love writing them, but probably don't ever finish them. So I know that this for one of my friends, she's like, how do you do this again? And she's like, here's how I get to, in my journal, it says like, make to-do list. And then she's like, and then I already feel overwhelmed. And I'm like, well, you're not doing it right. So we're going to start with why willpower fails. I would say because it's not realistic. It's not actually, you actually have to do the thing. And most of the time we're burned out from the day that we don't want to do the thing. And so kind of like your phone battery, you start off at like 100% during the day. And by the time you get home from doing all the things you have to do to like make a paycheck or keep people alive or whatever, you're like, I'm done. I just got to sit down. That's why my husband and I fold laundry after our kid goes to bed at 9:30 at night, because that's the only time we have to do it. So checklists demand willpower. They demand the energy. They demand if you haven't done this by this time, you're already behind. I love a calendar blocking type of checklist.
Yep, that's my go-to.
That's one of the systems of like, okay, I have these 5 things to do. I'm going to block. This is when I can get it done. And if I don't get it done that day, I can just easily move it to the next day. So it's a checklist, but it's a system at the same time because it holds me accountable to actually get it done.
Checklist and many different tools and stuff is really just meant for you to develop some sort of discipline within your day. I love what you mentioned, and I apply this to my own routines or schedules or whatever, but the time blocking. Because your checklist can fit into a block of time, and it's less overwhelming than looking at, because seriously, I could sit down in the morning and I can easily write down 20 different things I would like to get done that day.
Yeah.
1, I'm an overachiever. 2, I tend to take on too much. And so for me, I have my priorities and I like to get that done if I can. And if it fits into my time block as quick as possible, even the hardest thing. A lot of people will go and do the easiest thing first. And I encourage that in like an organizing session with their methods, but not when it comes to a task. Do your hardest thing first, because then you feel good. You're not going to procrastinate for the rest of your day. But the time blocking and going back to that is like, I always advocate self-care somewhere in your day. And for me, it's the morning, because everybody is asleep. People leave me alone. My phone's not going off the hook.
Yeah.
And I have been slacking a little bit. I've been getting up at 6 instead of 5. So my self-care time window has shortened a bit. But between selling a house and buying a house and keeping businesses running and, all of our content, it's been a little bit much. But when I get back to being at my peak performance, 5 to 7 is really my self-care time. And then I have a checklist within that. So I take items from my checklist and I put it in there. But really what I'm doing is I'm creating that rhythm and that discipline, because at that point I have clarity and I know what I need to do. And I'm not relying on stickies or a 1 through 10 on a journal or my motivation, which is always fleeting. I know what I need to do because I've blocked it off. And whatever that self-care looks like is what I do and how I feel. Sometimes it's meditating. Sometimes it's taking a masterclass. Sometimes it's business building and I'm listening to all my stuff online. Sometimes it's working out, because, I work out during my self-care a couple times a week. So whatever that looks like to you, or whatever you can take off your checklist and apply to that block, do that.
Yeah. I started a new. So I think let's go back. So what Scarlett's saying is everybody has a different thing that works for them.
Yes.
And we really love the time blocking because it's just been really successful for both of us and for a lot of our clients. Another new technology that's come out that you guys have probably heard about is the Skylight app. The Skylight app is like a giant, first it's an app on your phone, and then it's also a giant like command center iPad. And so in the app, you can sync your calendars, you can create tasks and chores that repeat for little children. You can create a task list for yourself and for people in your household. You can plan meals and have the link on there. And whatever you do on your phone or you do on the thing, they talk to each other. So this is a new system. I got the app a couple weeks ago. I've been using the app. I haven't set up the big screen yet, but I have a couple clients that have been using it and just swear by it's a great command system for the family. So instead of me having to text my husband, hey, do X, Y, and Z today, like every day because I'm not home or something needs to be picked up or dropped off or whatever, I can just put it on the list. And so he knows, and it's taken a couple of weeks, but we know that everything important goes on this one thing. And it's on my phone. It's in my hand. I can see it in the house. My kid can see it. He can check it off. He gets stars, all the things. So that's a new piece of technology. It's a couple $100. It's been...
And I like that it's digital.
It's digital.
I was so old school to journals and, writing everything down. And I still love that. I still do that. But it's good to have those automations where you can basically send him a reminder, or you receive one and it helps you just sort of stay on track.
Right.
On track. And I feel like we live in such a digital world that if you're not using some app or tool that's within your phone or your desktop or whatever, I feel like the inconsistencies and the inefficiencies will automatically arise.
That means you're going to have 87 journals sitting around in your house.
Yeah, or 76 sticky notes just on your computer.
Right. So
which we see all the time.
I see it all the time. And I love a sticky note on my desk. So when I sit down, if it's in my brain and I haven't put it on a list of like, okay, these are the 3 things you need to do, or these are the 3 things you need to put in your car because you haven't put it in your basket before you leave. So a sticky note is good, but things that are digital that you can use on the go are awesome. The other app that I love is Plan to Eat app, and it actually can integrate with Skylight. So you just pick a recipe, copy paste it. You can plan it in your Skylight so you don't get the age-old question of what's for dinner.
What's for dinner?
What's for dinner is your brains because I'm going to fucking murder you for asking me again.
Yep.
Maybe we don't have to
I feel like we spend our
there.
entire lives now just figuring out what is for dinner.
Eat.
Yeah, what to eat. What to eat next.
You know what I want to eat? I want to eat cheese and crackers and a glass of wine and not talk to anybody. That's what I want to eat. Unfortunately, I have a family and I can't do that. Mm-hmm. My husband has been incredible lately about picking up the slack on the dinner, and he can just go to the Skylight app and he knows that, we've already had groceries for this. It actually integrates with Instacart too, so you can just automatically pick a meal. It'll tell you what ingredients. It goes to your Instacart. You delete what you already have. It's incredible. The Plan to Eat app does that too. So I found a couple of things that work for my running a business, running a household, being a mom, wanting to show up for my family, being a wife, being there. And so those things are really helping me and a lot of people that are my clients.
And I love how detailed it is. It's a really robust app.
Yeah.
For me, that would not necessarily work because I do have like a mini team in my household. Yeah. So I'm a little bit spoiled in a sense where I have a mother-in-law that's always looking for crap to do. And then I have a cleaning team that comes in.
And she's a woman, so she sees what needs to be done without being told. Is that what you meant to say?
I feel like for me, my schedule is always moving, shifting, and changing because I'm in a different stage of my life. My daughter's in college. So I'm not balancing so much the family life as I am the business life.
Right.
And so for me, I'm managing a team and we're doing all this business development, and so I'm having a lot of meetings. Now we're creating speaking engagements, and we're brainstorming on marketing ways and whatever. Well, that requires me to basically be in the field, and and I love being in the field, but it's hard for me to manage my schedule when something gets canceled or needs to shift or whatever. And so I've been using a Reclaim. It's called an app. It's called Reclaim, and it's very AI driven. And we're moving into the AI day and age, and I'm sort of getting with the program on that. And so I'm testing this new app out, and it will shift my schedule around, and I have outlined parameters.
That's huge.
Yeah. And so I don't necessarily have to think. It's almost like talking to an assistant and saying, crap,
So
this
amazing.
canceled, but then it will find the best day or the best time for me already without me sitting here trying to plan it out. And that is what's working for me. So it doesn't focus on a lot of different home tasks. It really is just schedule focused. So for any like business people out there, or maybe you're in the stage of life that I am, that might be a less robust app, but helps you in the scheduling department,
Yeah,
which I love.
I feel like that would be helpful.
And it doesn't have to be just business. Like I have my personal goals in there.
Yeah.
Like you can say, I want to set, cause I like to do a lot of different hobbies. I'm a dancer. I love, I want to actually start playing the cello.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm spending time with my new pet, and I've got like outside goals that are not business. And so I've been able to integrate that in. And so there's a focus time where I can do business building. There's the self-care time where I'm focusing on, the internal of me. There is a time where I can do like an activity that's geared towards gym or stretching or dance, and it'll shift all these things around depending on how my day goes in the field, because it's always ever changing.
It always changes.
Yeah.
It's like your own executive assistant.
Basically.
That's basically what I used to do. Is I would just play with the calendar and make stuff work and shift. And so that's really...
And that's what I don't like to do. I can be very calendar driven, and I love scheduling in a sense where I just work from my phone. It tells me what to do, but I hate putting it together.
Yeah, so the AI helps.
Yes, so it makes that decision for me, and it's got all these parameters. It took me a week to set it up.
Yeah.
Like, I kid you not, it took me a week because I was like trying to figure it out and trying to do it and then test it out and whatever. So it does take a hot minute. But once you find something like that, I mean, the automations are just endless.
Right. So
kind of like what you were talking about with, the Skylight app.
Yeah, I love that. There's so many different tools out there now. And so it doesn't just have to be the old school, Post-it note or checklist or whatever. Because then also, like, if you leave your house and you leave it at home, you're like, oh crap, what am I supposed to do today?
Yep.
So the other thing that I have that's automated in our house is we use the Magic Home app. And I think there's a Google in-home or just home app, but it automates all of our lights in the house.
Oh, like a smart. Yeah.
And we are very big into lighting because we have a little one. And so I want the lights to start dimming before bedtime. If there's a bright light at like 8 o'clock, I lose my mind. So we have lights and music that comes on, like, oh, your bath music is on. It's time to get in the bath. Your sleep music's on. It's time to get in bed and read a book. And it also is in the living room. So like once we all move to our bedrooms, if the living room lights are on, it'll automatically go down and set whatever light for nighttime. It does it in our bedroom, so we can actually always be prepared for light, and it'll go off at a certain time. So if we're still up at the time the lights go out, we know it's bedtime. It is time to sleep. So those are just some tips and tricks for you to go find. If there is a app that you guys like that's digital or automated, let us know.
I'll share the cost.
Yeah, there's AI is all over the place now, so let's utilize it in a meaningful way.
And I mean, we're talking about technology now, but there are other ways just within your home, especially for like my entire household is ADD or ADHD, and they have to visually see everything visually. So, there are certain triggers within the home where it's like on the way out, okay, here's your reminder. Or, we've got things that are labeled, like bins that are labeled to give a friendly reminder where this is or that is, or we've got extremely simple categories in the house. We do not make it too overly complicated. So there's certain things that you can do in your own environment. It doesn't have to be all technology driven. I just feel like that's going to be the best, because like Holly said, you're not always going to be home when you're doing stuff. You're going to be out and about, and you want those automations or those friendly reminders so that you can just keep being efficient in, your day and be on top of things and have that clarity without the burnout and coming home and feeling like, you crashed. Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. In real life, organizing is a system. So like, there's not a checklist by your back door that says take off shoes, put them in bin, Right. That is a system that you've created to have a bin for shoes, and a habit you've created to stack on top of that when I come in, I put my shoes here. This is where the shoes live. So they're not in the hallway or wherever. So in the morning time, I can go and get my shoes.
And that's that visual representation of a trigger within a house that has you do something when you walk in the door.
Like we have a system in the morning of getting dressed. It's drawers that are like underwear and socks, shirt, shorts. And so Max will just go down the drawers and pick what he needs. And he knows that his shoes are here. So I can say, hey, baby, it's time to get dressed. And he can go do it without me having to follow him. Now, does it take years to get to that place where they're very independent and they can do that? Yes. But now that he can see what he needs and he's able to do it himself, he feels proud of himself for getting dressed on his own. It saves me time and energy and stress of not having to deal with all the things. Right. He knows he can ask Alexa what the weather is like. He knows there's a temperature gauge on the back of the door. So he knows when it starts getting red and yellow, it's going to be hot, because we're still learning that. So,
but even if before they get to Max's level, there are organizing or organizers that you can stick. Basically, it's like it hangs on the back of a door, and it has where you can say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the days, and you can go ahead and put an outfit together for them. And maybe you just pull that outfit, put it on the bed, and then you don't have to think you already prepped that on your Sunday or whatever.
And you can engage them for that prep too if you have a little one that wants that. So the same thing for you. If it's hard for you to get up in the morning and decide what you're going to wear, do that.
Yep.
Put your socks. There's this thing forever ago that was this is what millionaires do. Make your bed. 1, great. 2, put your socks in your shoes. If you have a specific sock for a shoe, just put them in there. You don't need to have an extra sock drawer. Just put them in there if that's what you're using all the time. That will also make sure that you don't have too many socks for that sock drawer like we were talking about last time. Because if you have a sock drawer that's a foot wide, and then you have 14,000 socks and you can't fit in there, you have too many socks. You got to declutter and make it work.
Yep.
So there's a checklist. Fine. There's a system. So you make the system, you create the habit, and then it's just working for you. It's like a habit of coming in. You don't have to be I don't have the willpower to put my shoes away. It's just there. It's there and it's easy. There's no friction.
But you have to have that conversation first.
Yes.
Where is there friction? How can I solve this or bring, someone like us in? And we will have that conversation and we will figure out, what's the goal of the space or what's the goal that you're trying to create. Then from there, let's back step that to really space planning it out.
Right.
What will fit with the habits that you're trying to do now versus maybe something that we recommend that could be more efficient, and then creating that system, walking you through it and seeing how you operate. And you can also make some tweaks and changes too. A lot of times we're learning things on the fly because we just met our client and we're trying to learn all of how they operate and all of what they want and all the little exceptions, that's got to go. And we try to really just break it down to space plan and to find the right tools or bins or organizers or whatever, and then apply it to what they're working with.
And it's probably just a simple change.
Yeah.
I mean, in most cases, it's a simple change, but you haven't seen it because you're in it.
Yeah.
You can't, like, you're in it and you're overwhelmed. And so having an expert come in, just a coach, like, let's have a declutter. Let's, like, do an example of a system setup.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
used to have a mentor. He said this, and I loved this quote from him, but he said, the thinking that got you into a situation is not always the thinking that can get you out of that situation, because you're too close to the problem.
Yeah.
And so you need that outsider perspective to just break it down and go, oh, okay, got it. Here's what I think will help you.
Yes. I think too, like, if you're struggling in the morning or at nighttime, put on your phone recorder and or your AirPods or whatever, and tie it to you and go through and narrate what you're doing. And you're like, oh, now I've got to go over to the other side of the house to get this thing that I have to do every night. Well, girl, that needs to move.
Yes. That's in the wrong spot.
I have to go back in my office every night and grab my computer. Well, make it a habit before you go to bed. You put your bag in your car, or you put it in front of the door so you literally run into it before, so you don't forget anything. So there's little changes that you can make. And then integrating some of this great AI technology is awesome. Like, we do it for meetings all the time to give us the notes.
Oh, the notes.
The notes is amazing.
I use Otter. Who do you use?
I use whatever's the free Gmail ones. I'll do like a Meet or a Zoom. And then you could also record your screen. The other day I was trying to figure out this new technology we're using to record our microphones for the podcast, and I just did a screen record. And I was like, that was super easy. And now I can always have it. I don't have to go look. I've had clients use Symboly, which is great too, because it gives you the audio, but it also gives you meeting notes, and that was like easy to cut and paste and be like, hey, here's your project. So there's lots of different ways. Please tell us some of your favorite ones. It might just be as simple as like setting a timer for your coffee pot in the morning, because when you smell that coffee, it's like, oh, I can live.
It's funny that you say that. We do that in Santa Fe. So I have a house in Santa Fe, and our coffee maker has a timer on it. Yeah. And so we prepare it at night. And, well, I say we, my husband, because I drink espresso and he drinks, American coffee. And in the morning at a certain time, because we typically wake up around the same time every morning, it's made. It's freaking made.
Isn't that incredible?
And I'm like, why don't we have that here?
Yeah. That's a good one. Jim and I have a rule that whoever gets to the coffee maker first has to make both of our coffees.
That's hysterical. But I never would have thought of that if we did not have this conversation.
Yeah.
So it's like having those conversations will help you to identify where the friction is. How do you want to change it? How would you like to operate differently? And then you can go and apply a system, an automation. Then your checklist can apply to those systems, reminders, and automations.
I think that we should
not
have,
checklist first.
Right. I think that we should have a service that's just like a consultation for this, like a consultation of like consulting for like going in, figuring out where the sticky parts are, and then giving you things that you could do on your own. Like, obviously you can pay us to come in and declutter, set up a system, organize all the things, but maybe it's just like
or virtually
something like that. So if you need that, call
us.
us.
Let us know. Maybe we'll put that together.
Also, again, if you have any of those fun technologies that you're using, please let us know. I'll do an unboxing of the Skylight, and I'll give you guys, maybe when we put this episode, I'll give you guys a reel on that, because it's been awesome. And then Scarlett will keep us up to date on the Reclaim.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that too.
Yeah.
It's like, if I was an executive assistant still, I'd probably still have a job, but I would be using all of this stuff to make myself more productive, leverage and more efficient. So
yeah, just stay tuned. We will, of course, put in some links at the bottom of our videos or our audios. And definitely follow us on social media, because we will give you the lowdown and updates on all of this.
Burn the system, make the checklist.
will create the system.
I'm sorry. Burn the checklist, create the system.
This is why you do the intros and I do the
know.
closings.
Rylan, fix this. Rylan, fix it. Fix it.
Okay, thanks for tuning in to our show. Burn the checklist, create a system. Stay tuned for our next episode. We appreciate you. Let us know your thoughts, feedback. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.